Innovation, and Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage, Honorable Isaac Rankin. The Minister for District Administration and Home Affairs, Honorable Nicholas DaCosta. The Minister for Caymanian Employment and Immigration, Honorable Michael Miles. Deputy Speaker, Mrs. Perlina McGaw-Lumsden. Elected Member of Parliament, Mr. Christopher Saunders. Acting Chief Officer in the Ministry of Education and Training, Mr. Elroy Bryan. Deputy Chief Officer for the Ministry of Education and Training, Mr. Jerome McCoy. Director of Department of Education Services, Mr. Mark Ray. Deputy Director for the Department of Education Services, Dr. Richard Wildman. Acting Deputy Director of the Department of Education Services, Mrs. Tammy Hopkins. Other members of the Ministry of Education and Training and Department of Education Services Senior Management Team. Representatives from the OES and Education Council and the University College of the Cayman Islands. Educators. Other specially invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. Welcome to the 2026 Education Professionals Welcome. It is truly a pleasure for me to be here as your MC. My name is Jerome McCoy, Deputy Chief Officer in the Ministry of Education and Training. And we're gonna have a good time this morning, right? Yeah. All right. But before we kick off the party, we want to start with a bit of brevity. So I will now invite Pastor Phil Eckstein from the Wesleyan Holiness Church to lead us in prayer. Please stand.
Good morning, everyone. I mean, wow. When I moved here in '87, I'd have never dreamt. These islands are truly blessed, and we should give thanks for that. Now, I don't know who decided it'd be a good idea to give a preacher only 3 minutes, but I do believe in miracles, so all hope is not lost. But let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we come before you with gratitude for the gift of those who are giving of themselves, right from the halls of government to the halls of these islands' learning institutions, so that the next generation will be filled with the knowledge and wisdom to grow in their life ahead. Those who give of themselves daily to nurture minds, shape character, and inspire dreams. Thank you, dear Lord, for their leadership, from those in government to the patience from those in the classroom when lessons take longer than planned, for their creativity in finding new ways to reach each student, for their courage to keep them going even when the path feels uphill. Bless their minds, Heavenly Father, with clarity and wisdom, that they may discern the needs of each learner. Bless their hearts with compassion, that they may see beyond grades and behavior to the unique story and potential within every child. Heavenly Father, bless their spirits with resilience, that they may rise each morning with renewed purpose even after days that leave them weary, Lord. When challenges arise, whether in the form of limited resources, difficult circumstances, or moments of doubt, remind them of the seeds they are planting, seeds of knowledge that will grow into understanding, seeds of kindness that will blossom into empathy, and seeds of hope that will bear fruit for their years to come. Surround them with a community that uplifts and supports them, Lord. Let their classrooms be places of safety, curiosity, and joy. Grant them, Almighty God, the grace to celebrate small victories, the humility to keep learning alongside their students, and the peace to rest knowing they have given their best. May they always know their value, not only in the lessons they teach, but in the lives they touch and the futures they shape. May joy be their constant companion, a quiet reminder that the work matters deeply, today, tomorrow, and for generations to come if you should tarry. And may those students, those young hearts and minds who leave their assigned classrooms, may they leave not only, Lord, being taught academics, but may they also leave with the Christian morals and ethics that these islands were built on: honesty, honor, and respect. And we ask this all in your name. Amen. Would you please remain standing for the blessing? Through Christ our Lord, bless their teaching with wisdom that inspires and transforms lives. Through Christ our Lord, bless them with endurance and courage to remain faithful to their calling. Through Christ our Lord, bless them with patience that reflects your heart and creates a classroom filled with peace and respect. Through Christ our Lord, bless them with joy that strengthens and sustains them. Through Christ our Lord, may every teacher walk in your blessing today and always. And through Christ our Lord, bless all those who are giving of themselves so that the future generation can strive with compassion that reflects your love. And we will give you all the praise, honor, and glory. Amen. Thank you so much, and God bless each and every one of you.
Please remain standing. At this time, I invite Israel Duncan, a proud former student of Prospect Primary and now a student of John Gray High School, to lead us in the national song. You may be seated. Thank you, Israel. Now, before I introduce our next speaker, a brief note regarding the printed program. It lists Ms. Sitonya Cacho, Chief Officer, as delivering the welcoming remarks. However, Ms. Cacho is currently serving as the Acting Deputy Governor, so I am therefore pleased to introduce Mr. Elroy Bryant, Acting Chief Officer in the Ministry of Education and Training. Mr. Brian Watler brings extensive experience across our education system, from classroom teaching to special needs support to school leadership and education policy. He began his career at the Lighthouse Primary School, where he spent 14 years supporting students with physical and developmental disabilities. He later served as Deputy Principal of Savannah Primary School, now Joanna Clark Primary School, and the Principal of the Lighthouse School, before joining the Department of Education Services in senior leadership and policy roles. His experience includes leading work in special education needs and disabilities and supporting oversight of early years, primary, secondary, and further education across the islands. Mr. Brian holds a Master's of Science in General Special Education and a Bachelor of Science in Physical Education. His contributions have been recognized with the Golden Apple Award for Excellence in Teaching and the Young Caymanian Leadership Award. In June, he was promoted to the Deputy Chief Officer for Education Policy and Planning after serving in the role in an acting capacity since June 2024, where he is helping shape the policies and strategic direction of education across the islands. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Elroy Brian Watler to deliver the welcoming remarks.
I did not expect to have that component added, but yes, it's a blessing to be here this morning. And I want to start by just saying good morning to all of you as colleagues. It is a pleasure for me to welcome you to the 2026 Education Professionals Welcome. As was said, I am serving as the Acting Chief Officer for the next few days, and as such, I have the privilege of delivering the welcome this morning. I also want to acknowledge our Chief Officer, who is herself serving as Acting Deputy Governor for the next few days. And I can say that she was very keen to deliver the address personally. I know how much this meant to her, and that the words she wanted to share were truly coming from her heart. So as I deliver this welcome on her behalf, I'm praying that I will do justice to the message she wanted to share with you this morning. Before the classrooms are ready, the students arrive, and the many demands of the year get underway. It is worth taking a moment to reflect on the work we're about to undertake together. This year's theme, Growing Minds, Transforming Lives, captures something fundamental about education. Our work is about growth. We see it every day. A student learning something that they could not do before, finding their voice, discovering an interest, or beginning to see themselves differently. But growth is not only for our students, it must happen in us too. Education is changing. Our students are changing. The world they are growing up in is changing. So we must remain curious, willing to learn, and prepared to look honestly at what is working and where we can do better. That does not mean changing for the sake of changing, for change. It means being intentional about getting better at what we do. And part of that is investing in the people who are entering our profession and helping them build the experience they need to succeed. This year, we have the opportunity to do that. We're welcoming several returning Caymanian graduates, including newly qualified Caymanian teachers who are beginning their professional careers with us, eager to contribute to the education system that helped shape them. This is something we should all be proud of. At the same time, we recognize that becoming a qualified teacher and becoming an experienced teacher are not the same thing. The first years in the classroom are a critical period of learning and development. For these newly qualified educators, we have opened the door to an important first chapter in their professional journey, an opportunity to learn through experience, build confidence, and grow into the educators they aspire to be. Our responsibility now is to ensure that they have the support and guidance they need as they take those first steps. In doing so, we are not only supporting individual teachers, but also investing in the future of our education system. And that brings us back to our theme, Growing Minds. Growing Minds is ultimately about creating the condition for our students to grow. When we continue to learn, improve our practice, and support one another, we are better equipped to serve our students. Whether you are a teacher, school leader, specialist, assistant teacher, counselor, administrator, or education support professional, you have a role in creating the conditions in which our students can thrive. And that is where transforming lives come in. The impact we have on a young person is not always obvious in the moment. Transformation rarely happens through one dramatic event. More often, it happens through the everyday experiences we create, the encouragement we give, the expectations we set, and the relationships we build. A conversation, a new challenge, a different way of approaching a problem, an adult who takes the time to listen. We may never know which particular moment made a difference, but collectively, those moments can shape how a young person learns, thinks, develops confidence, and sees their own possibilities. That is the privilege and the responsibility of the work that we do. So as we begin this new academic year, I encourage all of us to think not only about what we want our students to achieve, but what we want them to experience while they're with us. Do they feel challenged? Do they feel that learning is meaningful? Do they have opportunities to question, create, and think for themselves? Do they feel supported? Do they leave our schools knowing more, but also understanding themselves a little better? Those are questions worth asking ourselves throughout the year. There will be difficult days this year. There always are. But there will also be progress. There will be students who surprise you, moments of success, colleagues who step up, and new teachers who grow in confidence as the months go by. So as we begin, I hope we approach this year with purpose, with optimism, and with a clear sense of the difference our work can make. Thank you for the work you are about to undertake and for the part each of you plays in our education system. On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Training, welcome to the 2026-2027 school year. I look forward to seeing what we accomplish together. Thank you.
Thank you, Acting Chief Officer Brian Watler. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce the Acting Governor, Her Excellency, Mrs. Gloria Matfield-Nixon. Mrs. Gloria Matfield-Nixon became Deputy Governor and Head of the Civil Service on the 8th of July, 2026. A true Cayman success story. She rose to Chief Officer within 9 years of returning home as a university graduate. She has held senior roles across several ministries, including finance, tourism, and the portfolio of the Civil Service, where she led government-wide human resource policy, public sector reform, and corporate governance. An attorney at law, Mrs. Matfield-Nixon holds honors degrees in communications and law. Since 2018, she has led 2 civil service strategic plans, contributing to strong customer service satisfaction and employee engagement. Her leadership during the COVID-19 response helped ensure continuity of essential public services and earn her the Certificate and Badge of Honor. Her contributions to people development were further recognized with the 2025 Pinnacle Award for HR Leadership. Please join me in welcoming Her Excellency, Mrs. Gloria Matfield-Nixon.
Good morning. Wow, I did not expect to receive such a glowing introduction. Thank you so very much. Education people know how to do this. It is so incredibly wonderful to be here. Protocol having been established, let me just say to all of the teachers who are present today, good morning. This is only my first opportunity to act as governor, my second day of doing so, and I could think of thank you. I could think of no better place that I wanted to be. Let me just say that I stand before you, the product of our public schools. In your classrooms, I was able to travel to exotic places in my mind's eye as I explored literature. And coming from a single parent home, that was the only way I was ever going to reach those destinations. In your classrooms, I was able to understand the difference between argument and debate. In your classrooms, I spent many quality periods of lunch in deep discussion with my teachers. Some categorized it as detention. I saw it as quality one-on-one time, where I received wonderful instruction, because in your classrooms I learned that knowledge itself was not sufficient if it was not paired with discipline and character. When we look to the future of this country, we need look no further than our education system. In your classroom sit our future premiers and ministers of cabinet. In your classroom sit our future teachers, our future entrepreneurs, even our future pastors. We entrust our future to you. And I know that our future is in excellent hands. I have been observing the progress of our education sector, looking very closely at your attainment. And I have marveled at how you have gone from weak-rated schools to satisfactory schools to now having so many schools that are rated as good. And in our public sector, we have raised standards, so we have eradicated any ratings of weakness as internationally assessed, not only by our OES, but by inspectors that are coming in. The people in this room made that happen. And as a result of the work that you have done, I have seen our students not only compete, but triumph. I was so proud when I attended the KPMG Brain Bowl and had the John Gray High School walk out as the 2025 winners. The things that are happening in your classrooms fill me with joy. And I know that these things are not happening by accident. I know how much the educators and supports teams within this room work to make sure that our children have the very best opportunities. I also know that our minister, the Honorable Ralston Anglin, is a fierce advocate on behalf of our education system. He fights for all of you to make sure that you have the resources you need. And indeed, I would say if there's only one group of people that he puts ahead of you, it is the people you serve, our children and the families who rely upon you to make sure that our children are prepared for the future that's ahead. But as I see the diversity of your curriculum, the fact that no child is being left behind, the investments that have been made in special education and in our arts, that have been made to make sure that children who are interested in pursuing our trades have the very best resources available for them to do that. And that this is not only happening here in Grand Cayman, but as I took an unofficial tour of our high school in Cayman Bracken, saw those facilities there firsthand as well, my heart was filled with joy. You are holding our most precious assets. You are entrusted, and in many cases, you are children's first and last line of defense. I know that that takes an incredible amount out of all of you. And there are some of you who are joining our ranks for the very first time, including, I understand, 14 returning graduates. I want to say to our new teachers, welcome. To our 14 Caymanian graduates, you will find yourself where I was, January will be 30 years ago, when I was coming into the civil service freshly with my new degree, full of challenge and wanting to see that I could make a difference, that the time that I spent would matter. There is no better place that you could be situated than in our education system. Know that your efforts will not only make an impact today, but you have been drawn to a calling that is paying dividends for generations to come. Thank you all for the incredible work that you're doing. Thank you for the success that we can measure. Know that we expect even more because we understand the potential that is sitting in this room and the potential that is sitting in your classrooms. I want to say to all of you who are here, and I also want to particularly recognize members of our opposition who are also here to support our educators today, both from the official opposition as well as from the independent opposition. When it comes to education, we don't play politics. The entire Cayman Islands community is here. Our ministers on the front row are the first to support our Minister of Education. And I don't think it hurts that he's also the Minister of Finance, so you lucked out there. But I can tell you that from our Premier, our Cabinet, our Parliament, and our senior leadership group, I too want to give a special shout out to Chief Officer Satanya Cacho, who this week joined our roster of senior chief officers who will act as Deputy Governor. This is not only a recognition of her tremendous capabilities and achievement, but also it is a way to ensure that your sector is able to advocate at the very highest levels. I also am recognizing that we are going through a period of change. Within our civil service, we are introducing laws that will regulate the duration for which we can offer employment contracts. As with any change within our public sector, no employee stands alone. Know that I will make myself personally available along with our POCS team to talk you through those changes and what it means, and understand that we are a responsive organization, and as we experience issues, we will address them. So please do not have any of those things give you a moment of concern, because you have the commitment of myself and of the cabinet that we will ensure that education is always on the soundest footing, and that our children today and for generations to come will continue to have the very best resources available to them and a strong sector. And to all of you who are coming in for the 2026-2027 year, I'm looking forward to celebrating your latest accomplishments. I have not a moment of doubt that you will continue to rise from heights to heights. As I have seen what you have done in recent years, I know that our future is in secure hands. Congratulations and welcome to the start of a new academic year.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Seems that we share something in common. I was also a beneficiary of quality one-on-one time, aka detention. It worked. Before we proceed, I would like to acknowledge the presence of elected Member of Parliament and Parliamentary Secretary, Ms. Heather Bodden. Welcome. Let us now enjoy a musical performance by Tijara Stewart and Havana Pinette Issim from Red Bay Primary. Please join me in giving them a warm welcome.
Wake up, everybody. 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 No more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking. Time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There's so much hatred, so much war and poverty. The world won't get no better if we just let it be. The world won't get no better. We gotta change it, yeah. Just you and me. Wake up, all the teachers. Time to teach a new way. Maybe then we'll listen.
Wow, wow, wonderful, wonderful. Keep it going for him, keep it going. I can't be the only one that got goosebumps just now. Well done, well done. Whew. You gotta follow that one. All right. It's my pleasure to welcome our next speaker, the Honorable Ralston Anglin, Minister of Finance and Economic Development and Education and Training. Mr. Ralston Anglin attended Sir John A. Cumber Primary School and graduated from the Cayman Islands High School. He earned an academic scholarship from PricewaterhouseCoopers to attend the Ohio State University, where he graduated with honors and was a member of several honor societies. Mr. Anglin passed the Certified Public Accountant exam on his first attempt in 1996 and gained professional experience in New York City, the world's financial capital. In 2000, Mr. Anglin left a very lucrative professional career to represent his people as a public servant. He was elected to the Legislative Assembly and served three terms, including Minister of Education from 2009 to 2013. During that time, he led major reforms and initiatives, such as the reintroduction of reception in primary schools, launching SciFec, Passport to Success, and the UCCI nursing program, implementing national teacher standards and improved graduation criteria, and much, much more. He listened to teachers and education leaders, placing public education on a firm footing and trajectory. Mr. Anglin was re-elected to Parliament after a 12-year absence and is a member of the governing National Coalition for Caymanians as the Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Education and Training. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Ralston Anglin.
Morning, everyone. So let's see who is paying attention in class today. Who can tell me where that song came from? A poorly worded question may not elicit the answer one wants to get. Let me rephrase the question. Yes, it was Raid Bay Primary School, and give them a hand again. So I'll ask this again. Where do you think the genesis of that song coming on before me speaking, hint, hint, came from? Say it louder. Say it louder again. Did you hear her at the back? My speech last year, that's right. That is absolutely right. For those of you who know me, I kind of pretend to be a DJ. I sometimes think I can sing, but I had a very early love of music and actually a deep appreciation of music that was handed down to me by my eldest brother, who was lead singer in a band. And so I got into not just beats, lyrics, the feel good. I got into the words. I can still repeat probably close to about 400 or 500 songs from the 70s, 80s, and Bob Marley. And so you will know that there cannot be a speech that I deliver that there's not at least some musical reference to help us as we deliver. Oh, you can join her and don't make her feel alone. And so this year's theme, Growing Minds and Transforming Lives, is one that is so appropriate. But let me join with our most capable MC in observing and standing on the protocols that he has established. And I just want to say how good it was just earlier this week to join with the returning and newly qualified educators and new educators to our system. It is encouraging. It is encouraging to see so many new professionals looking to start their journey. It is encouraging to see how many of them have joined us from other countries, which tells us that we are doing something right in Cayman. For I don't believe any professional will want to join a system that isn't going somewhere. Let me also especially congratulate our newly qualified and returning Caymanian graduates. In a country so small that has so much opportunity and competing professions, it is very difficult when you only have the base population we have to attract large numbers to any single profession. And so certainly to have a year where so many Caymanians are returning to enter our teaching profession is encouraging, because it tells me that more and more and more Caymanians see the power of teaching, are embracing the power of a teacher and what a teacher can do in the life of a child. I'll get back to the song in a minute, but I need to ensure that the acting deputy governor, our chief officer, doesn't get upset with me. Because you see, now until Friday, she's going to be an extra big shot around the fifth floor. So I need to look down at my notes and make sure I cover everything they've told me that I need to cover in this speech. And then I'll tell you a few things that are nuggets that come from my heart. Firstly, let me just say that in welcoming you back and having concluded our historic school tours and reintroducing them and re-embedding them in the way we do business, I just want to ensure that you as educators clearly recognize that we're listening. Firstly, across every school campus, we got complaints around the distractions that unnecessary technology is causing on your school campuses. And we have taken that feedback very, very seriously. And so in the beginning of this school year, there will be a complete ban on all electronic devices, all telephones and electronic devices that can be used for communication across our system. I take the business of education very seriously. As an auditor, I believe in looking at risk. How do you mitigate risk? And how do you ensure that you cover risk? And so for parents out there, what I want you to think about is, in the last school year, how often did you have to communicate with your child via a cell phone during the school year? And if you're truthful and honest, you will say, not very often. We have clear and established communication policies that can keep all of our children safe and free of distraction. And so we will not be putting any child or their family at risk. What we're doing is ensuring that we listen to our professionals and we ensure that they can get down to the business of teaching and learning with as minimal distraction as humanly possible. You see, not only did teachers complain about this, I had parents screenshot WhatsApp conversations coming from their children during class time. That, for me, is completely and wholly unacceptable. And so that is going to be the new policy within our government school system. We will ensure that we work closely with families, especially those with special and additional education needs, to ensure that any concerns that those parents may have as a very small subset of our overall student population are adequately met and adequately addressed. We also heard about the long, vexing issue of specialist services and specialist provision. We heard the plea of the Edna Mall Primary School, who unfortunately had some of their provisioning on a Monday. And guess what happens on a lot of Mondays? Say it louder. Public holidays. And so our children have continued to go underserved within the public education system, yet this country has a $1.3 billion budget. And so we took a presentation to our caucus, and so I want to thank the Premier and all of my ministerial colleagues and our parliamentary secretaries. And we have approved the provisioning of enough monies, I think it's around $3.7 million of additional funding to ensure we can adequately staff up for the specialist provision across our entire system. We must ensure that our children who are in most need have those needs adequately met within our education system. We cannot continue to push children through and be able to identify from an early age that they are more than likely going to wind up in a life of crime and do nothing about it, or certainly not do enough about it. And so this funding is going to be critically important for us to truly provide the wraparound services that our children and their families have deserved for decades in this country. You see, I made myself one promise, and that was that if God ever put me back in this position, the gaps in the system that were left 12 years ago, 13 years ago now, would not go unaddressed in my second time around as Minister of Education, and this is but a start of that journey. We also know that space, physical classroom space, is a massive problem across the system. You see, Cayman has a population challenge that is quite unique. Unlike a lot of countries who can go to their registrar, look at birth rates, and be able to reasonably project out its population, every year we welcome persons of Caymanian status into our permanent population. And after attaining Caymanian status, a number of people then bring dependents to the country, and those dependents are then able to be registered in our schools. We also have the unique issue in that, based on our population size, there's a growing number of Caymanians who marry persons that are not from Cayman. And in doing so, people then bring the children of the non-Caymanian spouse. It makes planning for education practically impossible when you get dozens and dozens of children in a small system coming into the country and wanting to gain access to our public education system. And so I knew that we needed to move, and we needed to move swiftly. And so again, I want to thank the Cabinet and my colleagues for buying into the vision of acquiring school plan, because trying to build and catch up and fill the gaps was simply not going to be feasible, given our procurement rules and given the length of time it takes to build a school. And so I'm happy that in the next few weeks, we are going to be occupying what was the Kiddywinks preschool in West Bay as an extension of the Sir John A. Cumber Primary School campus. For those of you who don't know, Sir John A. Cumber is the largest government primary school, and West Bay is the fastest growing district. And so the pressures that come to bear in terms of trying to project out over the next 5 to 10 years of where the population in the district is going to be was one that caused me a lot of alarm and concern. And so in listening very carefully during our school tours, we ensured we did something about it. This is going to allow the Sir John A. Cumber Primary School to now have the requisite number of streams from reception all the way through. We're going to be acquiring, I think it's somewhere between 6 and 8 net new classrooms. And for any primary school in Cayman, that addition is a significant addition to be able to manage and accommodate the current and the future growth rates that we're seeing across our islands. We also have some exciting news, but we haven't signed a deal yet, so I'm not going to talk about it. But I can say without fear of contradiction that within the next 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to be making another announcement that is going to be one that is going to cause this community to be able to rightly celebrate the fact that we are paying close attention to school plan and ensuring that we are going to be able to meet the needs of our population. I can also say that coming out of the general elections, there was a lot of political rancor around school expansion, but I put our children first. Our children comes before politics. And so I'm happy to report that during the school year, the new Lehman E. Scott High School campus on the Bluff will be officially opened and take in students on our sister islands. We also heard your voices when you said that bringing back the National Education Conference was something you saw as a positive development during the school year. And so we are installing that as a permanent feature during our education calendar going forward. We didn't have enough time to expand it this year. One of your feedback was you wanted it to move from a 1-day to a 2-day conference. During this next year, we won't be able to go that far, but God's willing, by 2028, we look to have it as a 2-day conference, ensuring that you, our professionals, are truly being invested in. But most importantly, one of the things that struck me most about this year's conference was how many of you sitting before me actually led high-quality sessions. One of the great signs of a strong organization is when persons who are part of the organization can actively participate in teaching and learning and the development of the organization itself. And so I encourage all of you, come out of your comfort zone, volunteer, put your hand up. If you have that special gift that you can offer to expand the knowledge and practice of your colleagues, volunteer for the 2027 National Education Conference, because it will not only do you good, it will do our system a world of good. I can also say that during the school visits, and this again cut across every single school. Every single school questioned the implementation and the impact of the current one-to-one device policy. Whilst technology is a part of our lives, technology has to be interwoven and embedded in everything we do. We've listened carefully, and so we are setting about the task of acquiring laptop cards for as many of your classrooms as possible, so that there's one less thing for you to manage, one less student showing up with their laptop intentionally broken, one less student showing up with their laptop not charged. So we have listened, we have acted, and this is just the start. But I will also say that one of the things that we are working on internally is ensuring that we develop a system to actually measure the impact of our one-to-one device policy so that we can frame it in a way that it will have the best possible impact for our children. I'm sure that I'm not the only one that have seen what has happened, for example, in Norway, where countries are rolling back one-to-one device policies, especially in the early years, and ensuring we get back toward the fundamentals of teaching and learning. And I can tell you, we are not going to get caught behind the 8 ball in this drive. An interesting statistic. In the United States of America, the highest performing school districts are those who are have currently reshaped or are currently reshaping their one-to-one device policies. Their national measure is that overall, in terms of the level of learning, they are at an all-time low in the last 3 decades. And they reckon there's a direct correlation between an ill-thought-out application of technology, especially at the early years, in terms of the negative impact it has on our children. For how can we ask a 5-year-old child to pay attention to a screen, to flick, 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 and then miraculously show up to your classrooms and sit for 30 minutes? I may not be an educator, but I'm a parent, I'm an auditor. I believe in risk, identify the risk, mitigate the risk, and put systems in place to avoid the risk. And so what I can say is that this country is going to ensure that our development of a proper, well-thought-out, one-to-one device policy is going to be one that supports education, not the other way around. It must support optimal teaching and learning. It must ensure that it is bringing our children along in such a way that they can maximize their God-given potential. That is a commitment that we in the ministry have to you as educators, but most importantly, to our children, for it's critically important. Now, some of you may have heard me talk about AI, but my favorite topic, HI. We cannot get away from where the world is at, and in fact, we have to prepare our children for it. However, the best education systems have already addressed things like use of AI at primary, lower secondary, upper secondary, and tertiary. And that is critically important work that we also have to do. And in fact, a number of the Scandinavian countries have already developed policies where they have determined that at primary school, in the classroom and in instructions in the classroom, they are not allowing AI to be used. They are getting back to the basics of developing an inquisitive human brain, a creative human mind, a mind that then can use all of the tools and technology available to it in an ethical, responsible manner to advance learning and advance humanity. And so we are going to be hyper-focused in our system on human intelligence. We need to ensure that our boys and girls read and have more contact time with actual books. We need to ensure that our very earliest learners have good penmanship. We have to ensure that our earliest learners are taught to critically think, to be inquisitive. Because let's think about it. Man has developed some AI centers, and they call them clusters, that take over 500 megawatts of electricity to run. More electricity than is needed to run our entire country, to run data centers. Yet, that technology is trying to mimic the human brain. And the human brain only really needs around 1,000 to 2,000 calories of energy per day. I think it's very clear. We must invest in human intelligence first. We must ensure that our system is shaped in such a way that we responsibly and ethically interweave all technology at all appropriate levels for the requisite periods of time per day to ensure that our children leave the system well-adjusted adults. Adults that can focus on tasks. Adults that can be great team players. Adults that can make great employees, partners in firms, and entrepreneurs. It's not a coincidence that one of the complaints that Minister Miles and his team get is Caymanians who show up for a job and then within 3 to 4 weeks leave the job. Lack of attention. We have moved in such a pace with technology that we're making it raise our children, we're making it babysit our children, and what do we expect at the end of the day but to have rises in things like ADHD? It's natural, it has to happen. The human brain is our most important muscle in our body. It will be trained in whatever way we put the exercise in. And we must ensure, just as you go to the gym, if you go to the gym, you're supposed to have arms day, legs day, stomach day, let me suck in, chest day. And so picture the person that you're, and those of you who go to the gym, picture the person who walks in, who it's obvious they concentrate on chest and muscle day. But then you see the little sticks and you say, they skip legs day. The same thing happens if we don't. The same thing happens. I wasn't calling any names, I didn't even look. The same thing happens if when developing the human being, we don't ensure that all aspects of the human brain is developed and developed appropriately. Now I want to also say to you, now that I've delivered all the points that my team told me I needed to deliver. Did I get an A-star, acting deputy governor? I got a thumbs up. I got my first A-star in life. And so I just want to speak to you about that song. But note, they didn't sing the entire song. That song did speak about teachers. It did speak about builders. But it also says, or has a strong message for everyone in societies. Pastor Phil, It says, you preachers, start preaching what you teach. Teach the truth. Wake up, preachers, and all liars. MPs, we got it too. Politicians, stop lying. Oh, Lord, my Lord, my Lord. Well, why don't somebody help the poor people? Yeah, help the babies. Yeah, help the babies. You businessmen, stop cheating. Stop cheating. This song has important lessons for every aspect of any society. And so it was the reason that I mentioned it last year when I addressed you. Because it is important for all of us to be accountable. Because it's not just about teachers and school leaders doing a great job. We in policy must do a great job as well. Those in the opposition needs to hold the cabinet accountable. Those who are in civic society need to play your roles. Parents. Parents need to support schools more. We have too many Caymanian parents who make the excuse that, oh, I'm too busy, and therefore I can't help, so you fix my child. Let me repeat that. Those of you who know me know that I don't mind preaching a serious sermon. Caymanian parents need to stop making excuses about you're too busy to participate in your children's education journey. I say that standing on the shoulders of my mother of blessed memory. My mother came from an era where she had to leave school when she was 10 years old. And she was a domestic helper. I'm proud that I'm the son of a domestic helper. I tell people all the time, and they say to me, what is the thing that I'm proudest of? Other than my children's achievements, it's the fact that I was born to a domestic helper and managed to graduate from one of the major US universities and pass their CPA exam on the first attempt. And let me just say, when our economy grew, she went into tourism and office cleaning. My mother's average day was, she woke up in the morning, she went to Bogasan Road in West Bay and cleaned 3 private homes. By around 3 o'clock, she came back home, she got her shower, she changed her clothes, and then went to clean First Cayman Bank and International Risk Management. If she had time to invest in me and my siblings' education, there's no parent in these Cayman Islands that can form the excuse that you don't have time. You must prioritize your children in a meaningful way. We have to ensure that we see education as the great highway, the great gateway to get you to a new destination in life. The reason I took up such interest in public education is because for me, it was the great social equalizer. I didn't have any last name that the partners at Pricewaterhouse could look at and say, aha, give him a scholarship and that'll look good for us. None of the partners knew who my parents were. I was the son of a domestic helper and a seaman who became a contract painter. That's who my parents were. And so it was because of great teachers like you adding on to what my mother and my father poured into me from home that allowed me to reach my new destination. And Caymanian parents need to understand that if you're not going to actively and meaningfully participate and support your schools, your children will not meet the destination that you're hoping and praying that they can meet. And so if you really love your children, if you truly love your children, you have to actively participate. We will be rolling out the national PTA. We will be affording our parents all opportunity and more opportunity than they've ever had in the history of this country to participate, to also have provision of certain instruction, because there's a number of good pockets of excellence that's happening across our islands. We have PTAs who start PTA meetings with giving parents instruction around how to support their children in school. Now, if the system is doing all of that, what excuses can any parent reasonably make? And so we are going to go on a drive where we are going to really put at the forefront the value of education and the fact that education matters. And so this is a key initiative that will, I'm sure, and I'm positive, help you and your classrooms, because you'll start to see better and deeper support from the parents of the pupils in front of you. Now, I know I've went over my time, but I guess it's one of those few times where I can have a little bit of leeway. Growing minds and transforming lives. I'm going to end with this. The mother that I told you about was a very detailed-oriented lady. She taught me from a very small age that if you get the smallest of things correct, everything else gets cemented in and everything else can be built upon it. And so in doing that, one of the things that she left behind for me was every single report card that I got. And I bought a little sample this morning. Because I want to remind all of you, before you go back to your first classroom and hold your first lesson, about how important it is to see every student. Not to see your classroom, but to see every single student in front of you. Learn something about them. Get to know them. You can't connect with them and get them to go from good to great without connecting with them. And so this morning, I have the privilege of having my very first teacher in our midst. She made me promise not to embarrass her. And since she taught me when I was a 5-year-old little boy, I think I can now return the favor because I'm now the minister. And so I would like for Miss Jean Ebanks to stand where she is. This lady is the first person in our public education system that welcomed Clovina and McLaren's little mischievous, rambunctious, slick little boy into her classroom. And as I looked at this last night, I said to myself, I said, wow, 32 children were in the class, first of all. Think about that, folks. Let me repeat that. I know this is going to be a popular one to say. Number in class, 32. You see, Mike? You can sit for just a minute. You can sit for just a minute. Number in class, 32. 32 of us. So for those of you in this day and age when we cap classroom sizes around 22, 24, think about Miss Ebanks in 1977 with 32 of us. And her comments, teacher's comments, Ralston has done a very good first year in school. He worked hard, listened well, and is a disciplined child. You see, teacher styles make fights. And what do I mean by that? For those of you who don't know boxing, it's an old boxing analogy. Styles make fights. So that's primary one. By my last year of primary school, the comments were, Ralston is a very neat worker. He has the ability to do well and was one of the more outstanding students in the National Achievement Test. He, however, needs to practice to work faster than he is doing now, and he often takes quite a while to hand in his classwork. His behavior is satisfactory, even though he often talks excessively in class. And you see, that teacher took the privilege of making me work from her desk for the last term of my primary school life. And then I skipped ahead, and I wasn't surprised, but it caught me off guard, a couple of other comments that were made. And again, teachers, let's reflect on this, because you're going to meet some little Ralstons. God bless you. But you're going to meet some little Ralstons this school year. And so I just want you to remember, when times get a little tough and you see some of these behaviors, that you'll say, you know, that could be a little Ralston, so let's see how we can really get him motivated. So this one said, good work. Ralston is inclined to distract others from their work. If this continues, his work will suffer. Behavior. Ralston does not always concentrate on the work being done. And so, that was because I used to finish my work quickly. So I finished my work quickly, I got bored, I twiddled my thumbs, and the next thing I did was I turned around and started talking to others and distracting others. Here's one. Young boys are underachieving the female contemporaries. And this was in my favorite subject, math. Ralston is a very capable, though perhaps a little complacent. He should not be content for anything less than an excellent performance. Again, how we're going to get our young men to perform up to their ability, to not be complacent, to not be distracted with sports and other things, and ensure that they achieve their maximum potential. And then probably my favorite comment of all. This one is really, really my favorite, because this teacher just put it in the way that only they could. Again, in math, favorite subject. And of course, I got an A. So I got an A grade. But here's the comments. Ralston has done well in spite of his incessant talking. He's a very intelligent student and should do very well in this subject. Best of luck in high school. My friends, you are going to find in front of you a lot of differently enabled children, children that learn at different paces, children with different learning challenges. It is how you wrap around them, as Bob Marley says in the song, one love, with patience, with care, that you are going to be able to scratch that surface and unearth that gem that resides within them. I truly believe that every human being is born with something special inside them. It is life's circumstances. It is how they're raised at home. It is their interactions in schools and other social settings that then shape what and who they become. I know you're going to be challenged with children who come from very, very difficult circumstances. But as Bob Marley says, are you going to be that ray of sunshine in their life? Or are you going to be that dark cloud that they suffer through at home? A lot of the children you're going to have in front of you, for them, school is their haven. School becomes their safe place. School becomes their best experience. And so I implore all of you to see every one of them for who they are, so that you can ensure that you can be that ray of sunshine, that you can one day have them come back to your classroom and thank you and honor you because you took the time to notice them. You took the time to see them, and you were able to unearth that gem that resides within every one of our children. So I just want to say, on behalf of the government, welcome back to school year 2026-2027. May this be the most incredible school year. I look forward in the next few months as we do our school tours and come and visit with all of you in term 2 and seeing you in your space. But as I leave and just before the next performance, I want to honor my first teacher, Miss Jean Ebanks, who came to Cayman in 1971 as a 27-year-old professional, impacted my life for the better, and is one of the real reasons that I am standing here today. So help me celebrate her as I give her a small token of my appreciation.
Thank you, Minister Anglin. Clearly another beneficiary from one-on-one detention time. But thank you, sir. Thank you. Those words are truly inspiring, well-timed. Thanks to Dr. Barnes. Truly had a big impact, and I hope we can take those words forward into 26-27. Let us now enjoy a cultural performance by the talented students of Thielen McCoy Primary School, who will perform We Sing Our Cayman Song. Please join me in giving them a warm welcome. Thank you, TMPS, for that wonderful song. Give it to him again. I mean, I'm kind of biased. I'm from Bordentown and East End. All of my kids go TMPS. I thought that was awesome. Okay, next we will have Mr. Mark Ray, Director of the Department of Education Services, deliver the education outlook for the 26-27 academic year. Mr. Ray began his career in Barbados in 1996 as a high school information technology and mathematics teacher. Throughout the next 11 years, he held several roles in the education sector, including program director in the Barbados Ministry of Education. In 2007, he moved to the Cayman Islands to take up the role of ICT integration specialist. He later served as the head of business services at the Department of Education Services until 2021, and briefly held the role of acting deputy chief officer for compulsory education and early childhood care and education in 2020. Mr. Ray was appointed as the director for DES in 2021. In his capacity, he leads the strategic development of the government school system, oversees national education policies, and works closely with senior school improvement officers and other community partners to enhance student achievement. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Mark Ray to the stage.
Happy New Year. We are one of the fortunate groups of people who have the opportunity to celebrate the New Year twice. Protocol has been established, but it really would be remiss if I didn't say a very, very happy good morning to our distinguished guests and each and every one of you. This continues to be one of the most exciting days for me in the entire calendar. I do want to first start off by saying welcome back. You know, today marks the start of another important year of work that we have to do together, and a collective reset, really, on how we want to go ahead and achieve these opportunities for our young people. But we need to be clear about something. Culture is what we choose it to be. And ultimately, our culture is shaped by what our students experience, our colleagues experience, what our families experience. And it happens each and every day. It isn't a one-off thing. So as we begin to talk a bit about our shared focus for this year, I want us to really think about the purpose, the quality of our interactions, and how we sustain excellence in our education system. But before we start to talk a bit about the year ahead, I do want to kind of ground ourselves in the progress that we're making as a system, because it was alluded to. And I think it's important that we reflect on it, because it's important work that we do. All right, clicker is working, excellent. And I have a nice comfort screen down there. So this is our data. And one of the things that I will say about data is that I want to get it out of the way early, because the data is really the boring stuff. The important stuff is how we interact and how we drive excellence. But the data is critically important because it tells us certain things. It helps us to recognize where we're progressing, the journey that we're on, and where we need to develop. So as we start to look at some of the data points that we see there, I'm not going to read everything, but there are a few things that are quite important. So at Key Stage 2, and this is based on our 2024-2025 data report that was released recently, we see that reading has moved to 61%, and that's up 19% since 2022. We look at our mathematics, and we see 51%, a 9-point gain since 2022. And we're benchmarking against 2022 because when we start to think about the preliminary results that we have this year, I'm going to make some proclamations that I will say are very, 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 very preliminary, but good. At Key Stage 4, there are two things that we kind of look at. We look at our whole cohort achievement, and we look at the achievement of those that actually sat examinations. And this was a change that we made because we thought it was important to contextualize the numbers as we look at them. So for the benchmark of 5 level 2 passes, including English and mathematics, from an entire cohort, we're just under 50%. We're not happy with where we are, but we recognize the growth that we're experiencing. But when we look at the students who actually sat 5 or more subjects, more than half, 52.9% of those students who actually sat 5 or more subjects were able to achieve that benchmark. English and integrated science remain areas of strength, and we see the improvement in mathematics. Everyone speaks about mathematics globally with regard to the challenges that they face in terms of attainment in math. But one of the things I will say now in a very preliminary way, we've had sight of our initial key stage for external exam results, and our high schools have performed in the 60s in terms of pass rate for mathematics. So the reason I want to mention that is because across the region, the average, I believe, has moved to about 42% in terms of passes. In the region at CXC, we're in the 60s for our high schools. So that's something to be very proud of. So the work that's happening in the classrooms, we are seeing the growth, and we recognize that there's a way to go. But we have to take a moment and acknowledge and celebrate the progress that's being made. But the question really is, how does that progress become stronger? What is it that we need to do to make it deeper, to make it more substantial, and to make it consistent as a part of our practice? The next thing that we will talk about really doesn't happen by accident, right? Progress isn't by chance, it's deliberate, and it comes from the quality of teaching that we deliver. That's critically important. But also the quality of our interactions. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time today talking about those interactions and the consistency in our practice. And these are the things that we need to focus on for the upcoming academic year. Well, what does connection matter? Well, let me take a step back. What does quality matter, first and foremost? So quality matters obviously because in every single interaction, we want to make sure that is a quality interaction, including our lessons. We'll talk some more about quality interactions. But quality interactions are made up of small moments that build to an overall quality experience. It isn't a one-off. So those quality teaching moments, quality communication moments, and those quality follow-through moments make up quality interactions. That's why quality matters. Connection matters because students, when they feel known, when they feel safe, when they feel as if their aspirations and their goals are recognized, when they feel as if their needs are being met, then they will engage. So it is vitally important that we make those connections with our young people, because ultimately they will take the direction, they will take instruction, they will take correction, they will take guidance from people that they believe in them and that they trust. And consistency matters because that is how we build a sustainable improvement framework. At the end of the day, as I said, the quality interactions and those things are not by chance, but we have to be consistent. We have to make sure that the improvement is sustainable, and we have to make sure that it is consistent across the classroom practice, across our interactions with our colleagues, and across the interactions with our families. Because consistency is one of the things that continues to build trust. But that work depends really on each and every person in the system. It is not left to me as director, it is not left to the chief officer, it is not left to any single person. It is each and every one of us. And I do want to talk a little bit about our leadership structures and how we have had some changes and how we have maintained some continuity. So we do want to welcome some folks who are in our system and working in new roles. So we have confirmed our senior school improvement officers, Ms. Deidre and Mr. John. Can we give them a hand? They are now confirmed in their roles as senior school improvement officers. Ms. Tammy continues to be one of my right hands because I have several right hands, and she continues to act as Deputy Director for Operations. And of course, you know, Dr. Richard is appointed as a Deputy Director. And Mr. Devon, over in the BRAC, continues to act as Senior School Improvement Officer. With regard to school leadership, we have confirmed a number of appointments at the senior levels. We have Ms. Alitia, Ms. Lauren, Ms. Patricia, Ms. Erica, and Ms. Keisha Ann, all confirmed as principals. Congratulations to them. And we do have a number of our senior leaders who are acting in those roles. Mr. Kevin at Lehman Scott, Ms. Trenny at TMPS, and Ms. Christie at West End. And I think it's important that we talk a little bit about what that means for us, because we have changes and we have continuity as well. And when we have those things present in our system, it helps us to pivot our minds oftentimes from where we are, where we might be, and where we're going. But I want to thank those folks who acted in roles previously. They may have reverted to your substantive posts, or you've gone on to something else. And it is because of your actions that the leaders that we have are able to stand, continue to build. So I do want to give a round of applause to all of those who would have acted previously, who would have been in post previously, and supported their schools and their units in the progress that we are seeing. Leadership really isn't about a post or a title, and you would have heard me say this over a number of years. Each and every person is a leader, because you have, even if you don't have responsibility for a team, you have responsibility for your own actions. So each and every one of us in here are leaders. So leadership is really about how we strengthen support, how we provide that clarity, and how we collaborate. So alongside these leaders, we have a number of new leaders joining us, and I want to welcome our new colleagues into this important work. We have a number of teachers, assistant teachers, specialist staff, and I would like to ask all of our new joiners to stand, please. All of the new folks in our system, stand. Let's give them a round of applause. And I do want to specifically acknowledge our newly qualified and returning Caymanian educators. It is a blessing to have you. I am so thrilled. Tell more young Caymanians to come to teaching. We need them, because we are so happy every time we can welcome back a returning graduate, every time we have someone who would have maybe been in the system, left, and rejoined. It really is quite exciting and important for us to see that. So, as we talk about growth, as we talk about opportunities, as we talk about what our new joiners bring to the system, I do want to highlight one member of the team in particular. And I'm going to be very careful here not to renege on my promise to her. She said, "Don't embarrass me. Don't make me stand." I will not. The person is Miss Darcy-Ann Whitaker-Wright. So what I will ask all of us to do, everyone except Miss Darcy-Ann, please stand and give her a round of applause. Miss Darcy-Ann, I have not asked you to stand. You may sit. It was important for me to tell this story. We have someone with 33 years of service. Ms. Darcy-Ann most recently would have served in the capacity on the Edna Moyle team as a cleaner, supporting that school in its journey to excellence. Ms. Darcy-Ann has qualified for and will start her role as an assistant teacher this academic year. Those of you who know me well and would have been here a number of years know that tears come very quickly to me, despite being a big man, 6 feet tall, 200 plus pounds. But this story really is very heartwarming. So, Ms. Darcian, thank you for transitioning from our operational team to our teaching and learning team. And I know you will continue to lead, mentor, and model the excellence that you have demonstrated as part of the team before, and you will continue to do so as part of the team now. Thank you once again. It really is an important story and an important reminder of how we see the value that people bring, and it brings us directly to the quality of our interactions. Because Ms. Darcian's interactions with our young people undoubtedly would have been of a very high quality, and now she has the opportunity face-to-face, one-on-one, not detentions, one-on-one, to be able to interact with our young people. So, every single interaction matters. And this is going to be important for us as we move forward in the academic year. Because it reminds us that although quality teaching matters deeply, people experience us in so much more than a lesson alone. It's the warm greeting when they come into the classroom. It might be the gentle correction and the guidance that you provide to them. It might be that positive email or the cordial and professional meeting, and even the timely follow-through on something that matters deeply to them. It might be a message that communicates what a good job their daughter did in class today. But each and every one of those quality interactions are not about lowering standards or avoiding the difficult conversations. As a matter of fact, it is actually about being very professional even when things are difficult. It is about showing care and compassion. And I have no doubt about the capacity of our education system and what we are able to do and what we continue to do. The culture this year will be created through a number of accumulated, small, seemingly ordinary moments. And we have to remember that those seemingly ordinary moments mean a great deal to somebody else. That's how connection is built, with children, with parents, with colleagues, with the community. I think it is important that we recognize that the relationships that we build are not extra. These aren't things that we have to go above and beyond to do. These are things that are natural and part of how our system works, how it has to work. With our students, we should know their names. We should know their stories, the strengths, the needs, the challenges that they may be facing, the signals and the aspirations that they have, because we need to be able to respond to them. With each other, we should be able to communicate and solve problems early and quickly, draw on each other collaboratively, follow through and reduce avoidable friction. We are human beings, but let's be reducing avoidable friction. Students are more likely, as I said before, to accept challenge from those that they believe trust in them and believe in them. But also our colleagues will be there for us when they know that we are part of that team and the trust is delivered through transparency and accountability. So that is critically important, that as we think about what someone is receiving from us, let that guide what we transmit. All right, I want to say that again. Before we say anything or do anything, think about what is being received and let that help to shape what we transmit, whether it is an action, whether it is a word, or even if it is a facial expression. Because oftentimes what we say and what we intend might not be what the person is receiving. So let's be conscious and cognizant of that. Because these connections with students and colleagues really, that's okay. We keep on rolling. Luckily for me, I have a comfort screen. You don't. So, now the mic is gone. I see what is happening here. It's systematically shutting me down. Anything? Yeah. So in my teacher voice, I'll let you know that we have to give it 2 minutes to restart. Unfortunately, I have no entertainment skills. I can't sing, I can't dance, can't tell jokes. But I understand our MC is well versed. No? No. I've now run out of things to say. Oh, Mr. Elroy is volunteering to. Oh. So for those of you who don't know, Mr. Elroy, don't worry, Mr. Elroy, in a previous life, was used as entertainment on numerous occasions. Yes? You remember this? Anybody remembers? Yes? Still not on Mr. Elroy, so we still have time. So for those of you who don't know, Mr. Elroy is well versed in every single lyric to the song Wild Gilbert. It is a known fact. So I would invite Mr. Elroy. No, but we do a thing. I start a little rhythm, you. Yep, yep. Wild Gilbert. Pull up, believe it. I'd like to thank the audiovisual team for cutting the mic like we planned so that could happen. Thank you, Mr. Elroy. I can't even remember where I was in the presentation. Oh, okay. No. Soon finish. So, as we wait for the screen to come back up, I do want to say to you, wellness isn't decorative, right? So moments like that, albeit impromptu and ad hoc, is important for us to have a laugh. It's important for us to smile because you do some very, very hard work. The reality of it is sometimes this work can be unforgiving. And sometimes we are we're always highly scrutinized. But one of the things I want to say is that make sure that you make those connections with yourself as well. Because at the end of the day, the only person you're obligated to stay with for the rest of your life is you. You can't get rid of yourself. So make sure that you have a good relationship with yourself. And make sure that you prioritize your wellness. Almost all of you go above and beyond each and every day. Take some time on the weekends to breathe. Because you carry high expectations. There are a lot of student needs, a lot of pressures in the public service. So ask for support early. Protect your recovery. And we want to make sure that at the end of the day, you support each other. We are here for each other in terms of our professional responsibility. But we want to be even more intentional this year as DES and ministry in terms of the support. Because when we protect that wellness, we create better conditions really for teaching, learning, and the support priorities that follow. So what is it that we're talking about this year in terms of focus for teaching and learning? We want to connect directly to those areas we talked about in the data. We want to make sure that those quality first teaching moments are central to what we do. Writing and mathematics, we know that there is some development to happen there, but we are continuing that journey. The data-informed actions are really the things that help us to identify where our students need to go next and what we need to do to support them, whether it's through intervention or additional work. Every single learning opportunity provides us with an opportunity to integrate some literacy, some numeracy, some technology where appropriate, but importantly, and I want us to really hone in on this, culture. So we saw TMPS perform, we saw the Swanky Band from John Gray perform. I want us to look for those opportunities to incorporate our Caymanian culture into each and every learning opportunity that you have. We're going to be very, very intentional about how we do that. We are working through some partnerships with a number of entities and principals. We'll be coming to you very, very soon to say, here are the opportunities available. And we aren't going to dig too deep to say this is what you have to do, but we are going to say to you, you have to do something and take full advantage of the resources that are going to be provided. So that's going to be critically important for us. Those quality teaching moments are, as I said before, underpinned by those quality interactions, right? But the outcome that we're striving for, to be honest with you, I'm less concerned with quality teaching than I am with quality learning. And that's the outcome from quality teaching. We want to make sure that learning is taking place. So those things will drive quality learning. But it's not just the teaching and learning elements that are critically important, it's the operational elements that help to support the success of our young people. So we will continue to look at safe and ready learning environments. There are times when there are things that need to be done. We recognize that we have a large, relatively large, school plant across all of our schools. And we're working with our facilities teams, our business services teams, to make sure that we can mobilize all the necessary actions that need to take place to let you have the best possible working environments. It's a work in progress. We continue to improve, continue to develop. But there's a level of accountability that I want to make sure that we incorporate into this system. So it is important for you to help hold us accountable as well. So principals, when we ask you to make sure that you log those incidents, make sure you log those incidents, right? Because we want to be able to run some statistics, and we are doing it now from a dashboard which can tell us the number of incidents that we have, the types of incidents, and one of the things that we want to really hone in on from an operational standpoint is engendering a sense of pride in our school plan so that our young people see it as something to protect and something to care for. Because if we cannot do that, the investment that our Minister of Education and the other Minister of Finance, it will go for naught. And that is not acceptable. Minister spoke about families being involved in their children's learning. And I want us to continue to urge our young people, urge our families to let our young people respect, love, and care for our school plan and for each other. That is critically important. When all of those things align, teaching and learning operations, school teams will work in alignment. They're better positioned to hold those high expectations for our young people while providing meaningful support. So the reality is, as we move forward, high expectations and high support will go hand in hand. We expect certain things, and you see them there on the screen. In return, you can expect certain things from us as well and your leadership in your schools. And we're here to make a commitment that this year, 2026, 2027, will be one of the strongest years that we'll experience in the Cayman Islands public education system. On a personal note, I do want to say today, the 21st of August, is 19 years exactly that I started in the Cayman Islands public education system. 21st of August, 2007. I had to think back, I had to do some quick math. But the reality is that I could not be prouder of the system that we have grown into, and the people that I have the honor of standing next to each and every day. Because the reality is, you'll hear me say this all the time, we don't really have challenges, right? Those are opportunities in disguise. But we have some beautiful opportunities delivered to us by our young people, by our colleagues, by our parents, by the community. And one of the things that I love dearly about this system is that, as I said to the new educators on Monday, their leaders were in the room, and I told the new educators I would go to war next to these principals. I know that they're having the benefit of being amongst the 900 plus. I will say to them, and I'll say to you, that without a shadow of a doubt, each and every day, I would get up and go to war next to each and every one of you in this room. Because the reality is, you wake up every day, and you come to do your best for the children of these islands. And we can ask little more other than that. So I want to tell you that really it is my honor, each and every time I get the opportunity to address you, each and every time I get the opportunity to turn up for work every day, it really is my honor to be part of this team. And I know that 2026, 2027 will be our best year to date. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Well, I'm loving this morning. Thank you, Director Ray, featuring ACO Brian Watler for those words and that performance. Yeah, I want to give him a round of applause. To continue the showcase of the amazing talent in this room and of our students, I want to welcome Mr. Amari Curtis, a proud student of Marie Martin Primary School, yeah? Yeah? To bless us with a poem. Amari?
A Day in the Life of My Teacher by Carrion Williamson Wright. I stand before you today to reveal a secret so shocking, so unbelievable, that it may change the way you look at teachers forever. Brace yourselves, for my teacher is not human. Now, before you call the authorities, let me explain. No ordinary human can survive what my teacher does every day. She faces 30 students all before 8:30 a.m., all of them hungry, sleepy, and armed with pencils that mysteriously never have tips. I secretly believe she powers herself with coffee strong enough to wake the dinosaurs. Every morning, she transforms from a calm adult into a mathematical magician. She waves her whiteboard marker and poof, fractions appear. She turns simple sentences into paragraphs and tears into teachable moments. Sometimes I think she gets paid not in money, but in headaches. Her superpowers don't stop there. She can spot chewing gum from 3 miles away. She has X-ray vision that can detect unfinished homework hidden deep inside backpacks. And her hearing, let's just say, when we whisper, "Is she looking?" she always is. But life as a teacher is not easy. They say teaching is a walk in the park, but that park is Jurassic Park. My teacher wrestles with essays, tames the wild spelling words, and still finds time to smile and say, "Good morning," even when she probably meant, "Send help." At lunchtime, she doesn't rest. No, she marks papers faster than a race car in a spelling bee. She even writes comments like, "Good effort," which in teacher language means, "You tried. Bless your heart." At the end of the day, while we skip home free and happy. She sits surrounded by mountains of books that could double as furniture. I once asked her how she survives. She said, with caffeine, compassion, and a good sense of humor. So yes, teachers are not human. They're legends. Multitasking, sleep-deprived, chalk-dusted heroes who save this world one student at a time. And for that, they deserve not just an apple, but an entire orchard. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you, Amari. Okay. We are delighted to present a special video which captures the lasting impact of teachers, featuring current and former students, reflecting on some of the most important people in their lives, their teachers, some of whom may be here with us today. It serves as a powerful reminder of the profound difference each of you makes in the life of your students. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in viewing Those Who Shape Us, a tribute to our teachers.
Miss Eva. She tells us what is right and wrong. I like her because she helped me read. She helps us when it's hard.
Sometimes he'll play every game with us and check on us. Sometimes he'll read on the. Sometimes he'll put on the board and some people read it, and sometimes he'll read it by herself with the book with us.
I really like the year 5 assistant teacher at my school, Miss Nelson. She is into sports, mostly sports like what I do, like football and flag football, and like she motivates us, and she's always open to help.
I do love all my teachers, but if I did have to mention one teacher, I would say Miss Mitchell, because she's been with me since year 1, and she helps me a lot, and she sees me as a daughter to her, and I see her as a mother to me.
I love all my teachers equally, but if I had to pick one specific teacher, it would probably be Miss Sherwood, because she's very kind-hearted, she's very nice, she's independent, she's a hard-working woman, and yeah, she loves me, I love her.
The teacher I really like is probably Miss Rosa and Miss Small, is because they kind of like believe in me all the time, and they help me with my work a lot, and when I need help, they come straight to me, and they explain to me why this and that, and explain it. What's the answer?
So a teacher I really like would be my year 5 teacher, Mr. Ingram, because he is kind, funny, helpful. He always makes learning fun and ensures everyone is safe. He also offers us a comfortable and calm learning environment. So that's why I really think he's special, because he is one of the nicest teachers that I've met in my whole time that I've gone to Sir John Nicumber Primary School.
The teacher that has made the biggest difference in my life is my English teacher, Miss Tibbetts. She's helped me understand and learn English better. She has an energetic and fresh version of learning and how it could be experienced through children educationally, and she makes it fun and exciting to learn.
Miss Samru has made the biggest difference in my life. She's a teacher, a year 4 teacher at Boddingtown Primary, because she saw that I was struggling in math, and she really tried to help me do my best in She helped me become better at math. She would stay back after school like every day to help me and my friends that were struggling. Now I feel much more confident in math and I'm doing better.
I think the teacher that has made the biggest difference in my life would probably be my English teacher from Clifton. His name is Mr. Welch, and he's been my English teacher since I started Clifton, so from year 7 up till now. And I just think that from like the moment I stepped into his classroom, I could tell that like it was gonna be a good like school year for me and like a good experience in that class. He's very like friendly and inviting, and he makes us feel like comfortable and safe in his classroom. And he encourages us to ask questions if we feel like unsure about anything, and he's always happy to offer extra explanation if we need it on a certain subject. He makes our classes very fun and engaging, I think, and so I think that he's made the biggest impact on my life because he's definitely encouraged me to be more confident in myself, especially like academically.
I'd say there are lots of teachers. I had lots of really good teachers. If I had to single one out, it's probably Mr. Tyler, who was my biology teacher in high school. And he really instilled in us an idea of, you know, really having to work very hard to achieve what you wanted. He set really high expectations, which I think is super important. And he also had just a great sense of humor. He loved his crazy socks, which I try to continue to this day with my skateboarding chicken socks. So yeah, maybe Mr. Tyler, but it's hard to pick. We had a lot of really good teachers.
I think a teacher that has laid an impact in who I've become today, one teacher comes to mind. He was a former principal of West Bay Primary, Mr. Crawford. He instilled certain rules of punctuality and always presenting your best self forward. It did shape the understanding that how you present yourself matters, as well as just being on time and just having really good punctuality.
So I'm grateful to say I've had some exceptional teachers throughout my years, but if I had to hone in on one specific teacher, it would be Miss Forbes. She has taught me so much as it relates to accounting. She basically allowed me to have my affinity for accounting and finance and just business holistically. She believed in me. She gave me some tough love that I really needed at times. And overall, I'm just extremely grateful for her.
First one will be my chemistry teacher, who, by the name, if I can remember, it is my chemistry teacher, is Mr. Tyler. And he somehow made the most difficult subject exciting. And he did it in the most fashionable way. With his colorful socks, his outfits, and he just made chemistry fun. And I think that's what stood out the most in terms of he made learning fun, he made the information stick, and then we were happy to go to class just because we don't know what he would bring the next class or how he would come dressed to class. The second teacher would have been my art teacher. She gave me a pathway, or she gave me the opportunity to express myself creativity-wise. She saw that communication is not my strongest point, and I struggled to put thoughts into words, and she realized that, and she gave me an outlet via art to express myself. And I still do that today. When I get overwhelmed, when I struggle, I find myself going back to what I learned in Georgia and John Gray. And then the last one was my mathematics teacher in John Gray. I find that she challenged me every single day in terms of mathematics, and she taught me that problems weren't meant to scare you. They were meant for you to find a way to solve them. And she told me not to be myopic in how I solve those problems. They're meant to be picked apart. And I took that and I ran with it. So even up to today, I still, use that analogy in terms of through my whole academic career. For me, it's not more so a teacher, it's a collection of teachers where one made learning fun, one gave me a voice, and then one taught me how to solve things. One taught me how to think to solve different problems.
When I was in year 1, I never really understood, like, I actually Spanish, and I wasn't versed in English yet because I came from Cuba. And she did help me learn my English. She gave me my time to practice my English. And she sat down and she had the patience to explain it to me and to like actually show that she cares. And I did really love that about her. But there's so many other times she's helped me. But those are one of my best memories with her.
One time I was doing my work. I was stuck on a really hard question, and I asked him for help, and he came over and he explained the whole question and he taught me just how to do it, and that's when I saw how much of a really kind person that he is.
I think I would still enjoy English as I used to before, but I feel like I wouldn't have the same passion for it because she has entered me into public speaking events, which made me love English literature and poetry even more.
Without Miss Samaru, I'd probably still be struggling in math and I wouldn't be as confident as I am today.
I think, you know, as a young person, as a young man growing up in West Bay at the time, there was a lot of influences that could have shaped a different outcome. So having a man that had stood on keeping you aware and keeping you accountable definitely helped, because you could have been distracted and get into, you know, small trouble, which then could potentially lead to larger trouble. But by keeping us accountable and again just keeping us responsible for our own actions, I think definitely a positive outcome or framework for a positive outcome.
And I've always been someone who was particularly very keen on doing well academically, you know, and always wanted to strive for excellence. But in the midst of that, you do need someone to really be that channel and that conduit for excellence, right? So if it wasn't for Miss Forbes, I probably wouldn't have really got into accounting as much as I did, and maybe wouldn't have strived to do like a professional certification and designation because I'm a CPA now, maybe wouldn't have tried for that. So without her, who knows where I've been at this moment in time. She was really the driving force and driving factor as it relates to where I am in this position that I'm in currently. So as I mentioned before, I'm extremely grateful for Ms. Forbes.
So without those teachers, I don't think I would have had the necessary tools to help me along in terms of my academic career. I more than likely wouldn't have the confidence, I wouldn't have the determination, I wouldn't have the resilience to continue through my academic career. I find that is the most thing that the teachers have imparted, and those three things are key in terms of my career pathway, where you need those three key factors in order to succeed.
I remember the best piece of advice he gave me was that your instinct is almost always right. And I take that with me to this day. Like when I have really big decisions, I rely a lot on instinct, like how do I feel about this decision? And so I think I may not have made the right decisions throughout my life as I have without Mr. Tyler. What my teachers gave me that I still carry with me now is really a belief in self. I think my teachers really were able to see my future self and really hold me accountable to reach that level. The other thing that my teachers really imparted to me was knowledge. You know, without that knowledge, it's really not possible to engage in higher order thinking or really, you know, any deeper form of academic inquiry. And so I really credit them for that. I'm currently in between jobs. So I've just left law. I was at Maples FS for the last 12 years. and I'm actually going back into teaching. So I'm going to be at Prospect Primary. So I think the way my past teachers have impacted the way I teach is really by holding my own students to high expectations. Really just, I credit my teachers again with just being super dedicated. You know, it wasn't always easy, I'm sure, especially at high school. And so I try to bring the same dedication to my teaching. And of course, I bring Mr. Tyler's crazy socks.
So if there's something that is not visible that has really stuck with me, it's the sleeping power of accountability. I think as you get older, you start to see the lessons of the past that may have seemed strict or stern, that now actually allow you to process things different because you were held accountable. One thing I would love to say and thank Mr. Crawford for is I know he had an incredibly challenging job being the principal of West Bay at that time. He had a lot of young men, and I think a lot of us has came out very well, and I think a lot of the discipline that was enacted by him has really shaped a lot of young men positively. We didn't see it then, but it was in front of me right now. I would tell him thank you very much for believing in us and making us believe in ourselves.
My teachers just gave me an overall sense of confidence. You know, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of times where I wasn't necessarily as confident in myself and my academic ability, but you know, they do see an underlying potential that you don't necessarily see in yourself, right? And without them, I wouldn't have been able to tap into that potential. You know, like there's a lot of times before when I was in high school, I was afraid to speak up. I was afraid to mention what I want to mention to certain persons. In group projects, I'd be very, you know, quiet. But as I mentioned, you know, they realize a certain potential in me to speak up, be confident in myself, and that's something that's residual throughout my career now. You know, you guys have been such an instrumental part and instrumental chapter in my lives and so many other persons' lives that came through the schooling system here in Cayman. I want you guys to know that, you know, even though it may seem that you guys aren't making a difference, you guys are. You guys are making a difference. I'm a true testament to that. Just like the thousands of other kids that have came through.
The greatest gift I think my teachers have given me is the knowledge that education creates opportunity. And when you have earned that, no one can take it away from you. The resilience, the curiosity, the determination, and the confidence to continue to learn outside of the regular classroom, outside of their classroom. And those lessons create habits, and then those habits help to shape who I am today. Thank you for all you do.
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 Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Miss Evans.
What a beautiful tribute to all of our educators. Please give yourselves a round of applause. And a sincere thanks for all that you do. I am not your master of ceremonies. I do not tell jokes. I do sing, but not as good as the acting chief officer. But I thought it would be very special to come up here and to continue the theme of what we just watched and witnessed. And I think that many of you, well, my Kim and Brack educators, where are you? I have been impacted and I have been touched and passed through the classrooms of many of those teachers that are here today, still among us. And it's as a product of the public education system, it would not be without the positive impact that all of you have on me and all of us here today and the future to come for this country. So if I were to think back on all the teachers that I had to continue the theme, I think the one that stands out in my mind, the most special one, was my year 2 teacher. The only teacher in my primary education episode to send me to the principal's office. The one who has and continues to give me many one-on-one sessions. An educator of about 35 years, now serving as the acting Deputy Director of the Department of Education Services, my beloved mother, Mrs. Tammy Hopkins. Please welcome her to give you the closing remarks.
You see, I always wonder when Nicholas moves, where he goes. And I noticed him in the corner and I said, I wonder what he's going to do. Anyway, it's that time where we're transitioning to the good afternoon. So good afternoon, distinguished guests, colleagues, educational professionals, and friends of our public education system. As we begin and as we end today's event, and we bring it to a close, our theme, Growing Minds, Transforming Lives, reminds us of the heart of who we are, why we serve, and the tremendous responsibility entrusted to each of us. Today we have been challenged, encouraged, and reminded of our collective responsibility for the children and young children of the Cayman Islands. And there have been some common themes running through all of the speeches, from our acting governor, our acting chief officer, our minister: power of the classroom, power of engagement, power of our parents. And the director has called us to connect, contribute, collaborate, and care. These 4 simple words are powerful. We connect because education is built on relationships. We collaborate because none of us can accomplish this work alone. And we care because behind every statistic, target, improvement plan, and examination result is a child whose future is being shaped by the experiences we provide. There is tremendous power in community. Sustainable excellence is achieved when educators, leaders, support teams, parents, families, and community partners come together around this shared purpose. And within that community, the quality of our interactions matters. A conversation can build confidence. A word of encouragement can restore hope. A teacher's belief in a student can change the direction of that student's life. And we've seen that and heard that today. That is the power of our words. Never underestimate what your words can communicate to a child. I see you. I believe in you. You can learn, you can grow, you have purpose, your future matters. As we begin another academic year, I encourage each of us to reconnect with our why. Why did we choose education? Why do we continue to show up? Why does this work matter? When the days become challenging, our why brings us back to our shared purpose. Our commitment must remain quality teaching, meaningful learning, continuous improvement, and sustainable excellence. Not excellence for a moment, but excellence that becomes embedded in the culture of our schools and throughout our education system. Because when we grow minds, we do much more than teach a curriculum. We build confidence, we open doors, we create possibilities, we shape futures, and ultimately, we transform lives. Before we leave today, I want to express our sincere appreciation and heartfelt thank you to some of our special guests. To our Honorable Minister for Education and Acting Chief Officer, thank you for your leadership, advocacy, and continued commitment to our students, educators, and schools. To our Acting Governor and Acting Deputy Governor, Honorable Ministers, Parliamentary Secretary, and members of Parliament, thank you for taking the time to be with us here today. Your presence sends an important message of support for our government education system, our educators, and most importantly, the children and young people we serve. To our director and our ministry and DES teams, thank you for your continued leadership, dedication, and support, and for working alongside our education professionals as together we pursue excellence and improved outcomes for every learner. To our students and their teachers for their outstanding performances, thank you. We know you are still on holiday, and for coming to grace us with your presence today, thank you. To our organizing team and everyone who worked behind the scenes, thank you for your planning, creativity, and commitment in making today's gathering possible. And finally, to you, our school leaders, educators, and education professionals, thank you. Thank you for showing up each day. Thank you for the lessons you prepare, the relationships you build, the encouragement you give, and the countless things you do that may never appear in a report or receive public recognition. Never underestimate your impact. You are growing minds, and through that work, you are transforming lives. As we close, I would like to speak a blessing over everyone gathered here as we embark upon the 2026-2027 school year. The beautiful words of Numbers 6:24-26 remind us, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. May the Lord bless our educators with wisdom, patience, and renewed passion, our leaders with discernment and courage, our support teams with strength and purpose, and our schools with unity, safety, peace, and joy. And above all, may he bless our children and young people. May they encounter adults who believe in them, speak life into them, challenge them, and inspire them to recognize the possibilities within themselves. May our words encourage rather than discourage, build rather than diminish, and inspire rather than limit. As we go forward, let us remember the power of community, the importance of quality interactions, the strength of our shared purpose, and our commitment to sustainable excellence. Let us connect, collaborate, and care. Let us teach with purpose, lead with compassion, speak words that build, and never lose sight of our why. Together, let us continue growing minds and transforming lives, making a lasting difference in the lives of every learner we serve. As we step forward into the 2026-2027 school year, may the words of Numbers chapter 6, verses 24-26 remain with us all. The Lord bless you and keep you. May his favor rest upon our educators, our students and families, our government education system, and our beloved Cayman Islands. Thank you and have a wonderful and rewarding school year.
Thank you, Ms. Tammy. There's nothing left for me to do but to say thank you all for joining us this morning. I wish you all a wonderful, amazing, purposeful, and productive school year. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful evening. Afternoon now. afternoon.